So now I'm taping. Am I presenting though? Did I hit that? Okay, so I screwed that up. All right. So let me get that. Sorry. Boom, boom. Okay, just have my calendar up here. Something happened there. Am I presenting now? Good start with Mr. Samuelis fighting technology here. Oh, I didn't put these on. Okay, so many check boxes you got to do. I tried something new, so it threw off my other common practices. Can you hear me clearer now? Did the sound better? Good. Okay, so back to the calendar. Thanks for the thumbs up. Those helped me out there. So that's why we show that. You know, it really is true that we should hope to get a better understanding instead of what do I need to do to get an A kind of situation there. And then we're going to go to another video. I don't know if we'll maybe I'll just say on your own because it didn't work out too well in the other period with my technological issues. You know, it wasn't really said in the video that I should really make sure you understand is why this new set of formulas this week. It's because if you remember that triangle that he had, although he did not have any drawing of it, he didn't say it. This is non-right triangles. And if you don't have right triangles, then you cannot use SOHCAHTOA in order to solve a triangle. What does it mean to solve a triangle? Find missing parts, and hopefully you remember that. And I know we've kind of jumped back and forth between SOHCAHTOA triangle and then that CIRCIX or TIX triangle with the unit circle and all that. By the way, I don't care that this is in the video. I did pack today at 2:20, 15 students that we need to relook at that CIRCIX or TIX unit circle stuff. Basically, if you got a 15 out of 30 on the last quiz or somewhere close to that, then that puts you in there. So look for that in your Google Classroom. Probably send an email for the 15. I think it's actually 17. I have 2 people that still have to take it, so I'm worried about them and where they're at. That was weeks ago, so we got to get them up to stuff. But anyway, this is non-right triangle. Then you might say, well, in that video, I saw a right triangle. No, you had a non-right triangle where he dropped a perpendicular and then compared 2 different right triangles to develop the formula. So I really want you to understand that's what he was doing. The word for the day is oblique. Oblique triangles mean non-right. So we need a different thing in order to solve them. One of them is the law of sines. Okay, now I'm treating these notes. If you printed, how many people printed? Raise your hand. I actually see you guys right now. Good. This is for the week. You know, all this stuff. And then a nice little thing at the end here. There are some conditions you got to be aware of at the end that you might want to have written down, and I wrote them for you. But the first couple pages are today. But this is for the week. For solving oblique triangles, there are certain conditions you better be aware of. And they'll be obvious. At the end of the notes today, I'll tell you why the law of sines doesn't work in some cases. Well, this one it does. When one side and 2 angles are known. This could be 2 different things. This could be ASA. And you should know exactly what we're talking about when I write ASA. This was actually a way of proving 2 triangles are congruent. And I think you guys told me you did that last year. You had the ASA theorem, SSS theorem, SAS theorem. Can people shake their heads? Yes, we've heard of that before. So you know what, when I write ASA, you know what that means. But another one, I think this is another way to prove 2 triangles are congruent, AAS. Not what we're saying right now. What we're saying is if you're given 2 angles and a side, law of sines is going to be awesome. So the law of sines will work for this. You'll find out right away. I'm actually going to put it in this. The law of sines works because when you insert the stuff that you have, sorry, it's the wrong letter I wanted. I needed a U first. You will only have 1 unknown. This is the key. Oh my goodness, I can't pull letters out of my brain. And you'll see that. We'll see that in the first example officially today. And then what about 2 sides and 1 angle not included between the 2 sides are known? Be careful and go ahead, look around. Are your parents or guardians around? Go ahead and write this word on your notes. Oh my goodness. What is that teacher teaching? I want to do that on purpose. First of all, I hope your teacher last year when you were proving triangles congruent they wrote this as well because a naughty word means you can't prove triangles are congruent. Well, a naughty word does allow you to use the law of sines. So an angle and two sides, that the angle is not included. But it's called the ambiguous case. Oh my goodness. This could be a big problem. Now, because of what we're in right now, I spelled that wrong. I'm going to show you a video that shows the problem. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have it on you, throw it on your shoulders because it didn't work out well last hour. My fault. My fault. Technologically, I had problems. But the problem with the ASS given is I could be a jerk. Actually, this wouldn't be a jerk in this case. I could give you information, ASS, that does not create a triangle. And then I'll tell you what happens with that. And actually, I didn't, but I did say it, but we don't have an example of it. So it could create no triangle. We'll probably talk about this again Wednesday. It could create one unique triangle. That's good, no problem. That's what our notes are going to have today. Or the big star, it could be two completely separate different triangles. And the girl on the video does an awesome job explaining it with animations. We're not going to test you on that two-case scenario just because of the year that we're in. All right, and that's just as simple as I can put it. I don't want to have a lot of problems with that. But those that are above and beyond the Call of Duty and want to know a little bit more about math, you might want to focus on that lady and what she says on that 7-minute video. It's actually pretty cool. You will find out why when you're given two sides and an included angle. At the very end of this notes, the law of sines doesn't work. So you will need a different thing. And this is what we'll talk about Thursday. Okay? The law of cosines is for Thursday. And then when three sides are known, which is SSS, you could actually, if you look at the law of sines right now, you could probably figure out why the law of sines won't work. There's two unknowns. So in all these cases, why do these work in these cases? Because you will only have one unknown if you use the appropriate formula. When you come back a week from today, we're back in school hopefully the rest of the way, and I think that is going to happen, except for our Wednesdays. We're going to keep the Wednesdays intact. When we come back to school a week from today, I'm going to have a worksheet that's just a mishmash of all the questions, and you have to make a choice. Which one do I use, sines or cosines, and then you continue. Okay, so it's all based off of this situation right here. All right, hopefully you already wrote this down, and don't freak out that, wait, something looks different. By the way, say this to yourself, whatever I do to one side, you do to the other. So this is what the guy wrote on the video when he was deriving this. And remember what he said about angle C. All we had to do is flip the triangle around and draw different heights. And then you would end up having sine of C over C equals sine of B over B, right? And he did say that. But whatever you do to one side, hey, what if I flip one side, then flip the other? That's just the same thing with the ratios flipped. And do understand what he said, and you might want to snap this off to the side here. Triangle A, B, C. This is side A. This is side B. This is side C. But I also have questions in my worksheet where not only do I call this side A, it might also say side, that's an A. I don't know why it turned into a D. That is also side BC. And I flip back and forth on that between a side being named by one letter because it's opposite a particular angle, or naming a side with two letters. And we need to be able to handle that as well. So I kind of geometrically have both of those things going on in the worksheet. In the worksheet for homework, I have pictures, but then I have listed information. So both things you have to be able to deal with, and I hope you do. All right? Then, of course, I think you said this in the video, you're not going to write a three-sided equation. You're going to use two of these three, and this will either use this equals this, or sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. You're not going to have a three-sided equation. Not what's going to happen. And you'll see that in our upcoming examples. All right, so really hope you're watching. Again, just like the circles, and I know many of you did really well on the circle, but the majority is going to be way better than our last one. I truly, firmly believe this is another chance for a successful test. Really is. Okay, and I think I already did this up here, so I don't have to do it again. Remember, when drawing triangles, letters match for corresponding angles and sides. Capitals for angles, lowercase for sides. Okay? Okay. Feel free to stop me in the chat at any point. Perfectly fine with that. Okay, now I specifically did all examples where it's solve the triangle. That means find all missing parts, because that's the longest thing you have to do. In the homework, the first 4 are just find one particular missing part. So read your directions. You should be able to handle that without me being a robot and showing you that. And then I'm just stalling for those that did not print the notes. That's why we really don't need to print this. You should be used to this in my class because it actually is training you for something. Everything is handed out and barely anything will be handled out as you get later in your career here. Okay, so now understand the problem with this question is it's not drawn. So number 1 is you start a drawing and you label the parts. So I'm still stalling to let those write what they need to write. And I will tell you that all my triangles are almost going to look the same. I don't get a protractor and a compass and try to get 81.8 degrees drawn and 32 degrees and make it to scale. I couldn't care less about that. My triangles almost always look like pumpkin eyes. Pumpkin eye, right? And I don't care that 81.8 does not look to scale compared to 32 degrees. The only thing I care about is angle B and angle A. And don't be erasing your notes if you put angle A down here and you put 32 here. It doesn't matter. What matters is who is opposite who. So angle A, angle B, side A. Got it. I must put my side A here. I shouldn't have to over-explain that. If you put angle A in the bottom right corner, then your side A would have to be over here. So my triangles all look the same. They just need to identify who's where. Right? Again, an over-explanation because got a lot of things going out there. Got 75% of us doing awesome. Just got to make sure we're really clear on what's going on here. So this is what I would do. Okay, this is side B. This is triangle ABC, so that's angle C. And then this must be lowercase side c. So this is what it means to solve a triangle. Those are the 3 parts that are missing. So I need to find those. In 5 seconds, what is the first thing I probably should find because it's the easiest and would take me 5 seconds to actually find it? 5, 4, 3, come on in the chat, 2, 1. This shows me who cares, 0. Ooh, well, someone said B. I wouldn't disagree with that. And I have a bunch of uppercase and lower cases, so that makes me scared too. It really should be uppercase C, and that's okay if you accidentally didn't put. Kayla put angle C, good. Right? B, I kind of disagree with, but it is the next thing we'll find. It's angle C. Because really, and I don't want to see this for work. You go ahead and punch your buttons. Can someone do that for me? Be a pal and just tell me what 180 minus those 2 are. But don't write that down. Write angle C equals and then calculate it. Thank you, Ethan. It is much appreciated. It just means we're in this together, man. Hey, I've heard that before. By the way, I'm getting my 2nd COVID shot today. Hope I'm all right. I did do that pack for 220. Hopefully I'm not feeling dizzy. My shot's at 12:40. So it won't be available till probably that 2:20. Maybe I'll get back in time before that. So, all right. And then I did see one person put B. Maybe they were thinking, all right, I'm already thinking about the law of sines. You were right in that case then, but just angle C. So here's side B. Hopefully I didn't say angle B. Side B. And this is why the law of sines works for AAS in this case. And do understand that this is angle, then side. That's why it's AAS. So the nice given is sine of 32, sine of A over the side opposite of it's given. And I'm putting labels on there so you understand what we're finding. At the end, I do want a label put on this. And then the reason you can only find side B is I have angle B. So I'm ready to insert sine of B over B. And then notice what I said up in this, why the law of sines. It's quite simple. There's one unknown when I plug this stuff in. That is why the law of sines works for this. When you get that worksheet a week from now, you pick the wrong law, you're just going to have too many unknowns. It'll be unsolvable. Erase your work and pick the other one. That's really a problem-solving technique. All right, and I think I'll go this way for my work because this gets a little messy, I guess. The next thing you're going to do is something he intimated about is cross-multiplying. Then at the end of this, I'll tell you, the people, there are some non-work showers. I do get worried that we do have people that don't show the work because I give keys and they just copy the keys. But then there are some people that are pretty high level mathematically and think they can shortchange me on work. I'll give it what you can do here. By the way, the next thing is I guess I'm zigzagging now. I don't like doing this. Maybe I'll pick a different color for the next one. Divide by sine 32. And then this is what I have to type on my calculator. Hey, could someone be a pal since I'm writing so slow? And again, I'm going to get on you here because I know a lot of people are not doing the things that they need to do to be successful. And I'm tired of playing games. Really am. It's you. You do what you need to do to be successful. You are your own advocate. Nobody else is. The best self-advocate. Right now, you should be typing this on your calculator and then seeing, can I get the same answer as Mr. Samuels is going to write down? And if you're not writing that down and not doing that, then you're causing your own issue. If you are, in fact, behind and struggling and not happy with Mr. Samuels in the class, well, we could be doing some different stuff, and that is true. Did anyone get an answer? First things first, I'm going to show this on the screen. You got to make sure you're in degrees. I am not. Okay, a CAT student used this last week, and we had to be in radians. Now I'm in degrees. Make sure it's blackened before you type anything. And this has to be part of my lessons. Good. Ooh, a little different. I'm a little worried about one of you two. Do not ever round like in the middle of doing a question, because one of you two would actually be considered wrong. So Emily, Ann, or Ethan, did any one of you two like round in the middle and then keep going or no? Interesting. So there must be a mistype. Not to put a thing in. Yeah, I don't know how much. I'd take like a half point off because it is inaccurate. When you get into the world of engineering, that 0.12 could actually make something not work. And then that is where precision is actually a thing. Divided by. Anyone else want to chime in? What did they get? Let's see what we got. Oh, I just did an error. So this is why we should have some. Okay, so 80.1. Don't feel bad, Ethan, but there was probably some sort of mistype. We'll go with the 80.1. Just be careful. Okay, good. And then that proves that we are doing what we need to be doing out there. And by the way, centimeters. Those people that put degrees on there, got to mark you. When I asked for labels, we found a side measure. Okay, so I'll move on. Sorry. And then I actually, because I'm trying to do too much, I mishit my buttons. So I got a calculator error. I just did something wrong. Okay, so 80.71 centimeters. Now, I said I was going to pick a different color. I don't know if blue sticks out. Now I want to find side C. Why? What theorem, let's put this in the chat, can I not use to find side C? I have two sides out of 3 in a triangle. What theorem can I not use? 5, 4, 3, 2, shorthanded. 1, first 3 letters. 0. No, I'm looking for a theorem that allows me to find a third side when 2 sides are given. I can't use this because this is not a particular triangle. So now it's up in the air. Come on, chat. This is not a right triangle, so I cannot use the, there it is. Kayla, you win still. I think you got the first one. Oh, no, you can put something different. So here's the problem with non-right triangles. Once people get two sides, they try to use the Pythagorean theorem for the third. There is no right angle. So there is no right, no using the Pythagorean theorem. So what you have to do is use the law of sines again. Take what you have given. See, do not, and this was in your solving triangle, right triangle video that you should have watched a month ago. The guy said, hey, or girl, I forgot who I used. I'm sorry. This was given. So stick with the given to find the next part. Because imagine you wrote this one down wrong. Then if you use that to find C, then C will be wrong. And now you got two wrong answers. So go back to your original A over A or sine of A over A equals. Oh, and then that just made me think of something. It's 80.1. Notice this is sine of angle over angle. A lot of times you get people that are totally way out there in this stuff and completely lose what's going on. They just put 32 over 42.9 equals 80.1 over C, and they don't have the signs. Oh, I have nowhere to go with that one. Nowhere. This is someone that I know is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, building up and getting ready for a test. Really is tough. Remember what I said at the end of this, I'll show you the minimum of what you have to have written here. So those that are good algebraically, I can see that you could probably go to your calculator at this point. You know it's going to be 42.9 times sine 80. So you can visualize this, and I'm okay with that. And I'll tell you what I would expect minimum from you at the end. If I don't get this, you will not get the credit. Okay, but this is writing all the work down. Then divide by sine of 32. So sine 32 times C. Okay, I got to get rid of that sine 32 by division. Then this is what we type. And you guys seem to be a little bit better than last hour as far as giving me some answers. Taking a long time. Has anyone got the final answer for that one? And then I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat when you're ready. Here is the minimum that I need to see written for work from you guys. I don't want to see 180 minus. I really don't. I mean, that's just, come on. We can do that on our calculator. Minimum for B is I would need to see this and then this. I don't need all that other stuff. If you can, figure out how to cross multiply, those that are very solid algebraically, I don't need to see that. And then honestly, all I need to see is this and the answer. Or one of these two, if you know how to write it in calculator ready form. Did I do the wrong thing there? No, you guys told me 80.1, right? So 80.1 degrees is right here. So I'm a little nervous that I did that right? So we found angle C is here, and then I had to find side C. So that's angle B. What did I do wrong? No, we should be good, right? So C is opposite C. Right? What's wrong? Did someone speak up? I want to make sure I'm not doing something wrong here because I'm trying to do a lot of stuff. Everything fine? Just want to make sure there's no mistake here. Emily, I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Your mic's on, but I can't hear you. Strange. See? Oh, that's on. Freaking out, man. Could you put it in the chat? Shouldn't it be 62 and not 80.1? Is angle B? Oh, side B is 80.1. Oh, gosh, I'm dumb. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what's this based off of? Is this supposed to be, oh boy, that's embarrassing. I put that in the wrong part. I should have stuck with, writing my parts out on this. I put it here, and then I didn't write the 66.2 here. You're right. Correct? Okay, so is this wrong then, or is this right? This is good. So you guys use 66.2 instead of 80.1. My bad, dogs. All right, trying to juggle these different things, and I put a wrong part in the wrong spot. So, scared me. Had a big shadow outside my window. I think a pterodactyl just flew by. All right. Okay, now this next one. I'll go faster. Okay, and again, this is about taking notes. Come on. You just have to write triangle DEF, and then here are the parts. And if I saw this on a worksheet, I'd go right to this. Okay, I got to draw my triangle. Pumpkin eye, couldn't care less. Angle D is 54 degrees. We'll go faster on this. Angle E is 45. And then F, oh, okay, well, this is angle F. And then this has to be F, which is 7 inches. I think in last hour's notes, I had this triangle a little bit different. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I have to find angle F and then side D and side E. So that's what it means to solve a triangle. Again, first 4 questions in your homework is find just one part. And then it goes to solving, finding all the parts. Could someone tell me what angle F is? This is why this is really no different than the last one. Given 2 angles and one side, you're always going to find the third angle. Make sure that we get this one right. Is it 81? Is that right, Miranda? Verify hers. I don't want to see any work on that. Okay, I do want to just see 180 minus, and then I don't want to see. I want you to do it on your calculator. And do it on your calculator. You get this one wrong, then you know it's going to get some other part possibly wrong. Actually, yeah, we'll screw up this whole question. I really need that angle to find any other side measure. Now you're open to find either one. So side D, that's sine 54 divided by D equals, and then this is the one you have to use, sine of F, which is 81, over 7. Really so easy to deal with, man. I love the law of sine. This is why I love trigonometry. SOHCAHTOA is pretty cool, pretty easy to deal with. Law of sines and cosines are pretty easy. The only thing that we need to really brush up on, obviously, is that unit circle trig, and no one knows things. Mr. Sarnowski had talked to Mrs. Cooper about that stuff, and they're heavy into that stuff actually right now. So a year from now, you'll be doing that unit circle stuff if you're in Math 3 Honors. All right, so cross multiply 7 times this equals this times this, and I hope you remember after that you divide by sine 81. That's what I mean about those. You can visualize this. Really don't need it written. Again, we're at different levels of algebra skills walking into this class. Very different in some cases. So that's been some of the issues. All right. Can I wait? I mean, I've made mistakes anyway. Me picking up the calculator and then I'm trying to do too much at once. Let's go ahead and get that one. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up E. E is the same, and I could use a different color, but I won't. Go back to what you're given. Prove. Again, like I said, what was that? Oh, good, 5.7. Go ahead, just go ahead and put it in the chat or go ahead and speak, but I don't know if I could hear you, Alessandra. Didn't hear Emily Ann. Okay, so we're looking at 5.7. Where do you want to round? Yeah, and just watch for it in the question. I haven't been a real stickler about that in these. I'm really just looking for the brass tacks of stuff, but that's the 10th. Doesn't say it around to the 10th, but it seems like that's what people are writing there. And don't round until the end. If you have a calculator where you have to do a couple steps at a time, never round until the end, and then round. That leads to inaccuracies as well. So make sure the directions say so. I'm not sure. I use the worksheet. I think they have rounding rules in it. So just make sure you follow those. 7 sine 45. I asked the question last hour, hey, what's the sine of 45? I know the calculator will give you as a decimal. Does anyone know what the sine of 45 is as a radical answer? What we have to practice with those 15 or 17. No one knows what the sine of 45 is from that 2 sections ago? Radicals in there. Use the word root. Just a random trivia question. Root 2 over 2. Thanks, Lauren. Nice. Okay, but anyway, you wouldn't do that in this. Go ahead and type this on your calculator. Then I'll highlight what I would need to see for you as I'm waiting for that. All I would need to say is this listed. This is all I would need to see for the work for D with the answer. This is all I would need to see for E with the answer. And the answer for E is, I was hoping at this point we'd have an answer from somebody. Ooh, so if it's 5.01 and the rules were to the nearest tenth, it would be 5.0, wouldn't it? Interesting how that happened. And then, as always, like circle those final answers so the teacher knows where to locate them. Okay? All right. I did put 5.0, and that's inch, IN. That's not 5.01. And then sometimes it's good to mark the drawing, but you don't have to know that you're complete. 6 parts. Okay. I don't think I'm going to show the video, but at this point, maybe after we're done, and that'll shorten up time. After we're done with this, you might want to look at this from another teacher. She's awesome. She actually, what I like about it most is her diagramming and the program that she shows in order to show why there's an issue with this and what happened. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go over it real quick. All right. When you're given SSA, or I'm not just trying to be naughty, what I'm trying to say is bad word means siren in math as well. You know, in triangles, like proving triangles congruent, ASS did not prove 2 triangles congruent. Not one of those theorems. When I used to teach geometry, I would write ASS on the page and say, don't ever write that in your paper because it can't be a way to prove 2 triangles congruent. But there's another thing. It's kind of a jerky thing to do to a student. When given ASS, it could quite frankly be illegal information and not even be a triangle. You know what you will get though? You'll just get calculator error on the first step. And then what you get to say is no triangle exists with this information. It's mean. The lady explains why. And I think I'm going to leave it up to her and up to the high flyers who really want to understand the math and more in depth. It certainly could create one unique triangle. Here's the worst part. And this is, I'm not going to have any examples in any of the notes that actually do this. It could create 2 unique triangles. And I'm sure when engineers are dealing with stuff, or people that are city planners or whatever, you could be given information and then you'd have to know, well, you know what kind of thing are we talking about then? Do you want this triangle or that triangle? We will not do this to you. This will never happen on a sheet of paper. The only thing that you're going to see this on is the video from the lady. And I'm moving on. Okay? There are some things behind it and why this occurs. Because of where we're at and the time that we have and, you know, the situations that we have in class, we're just going to leave it. All right, so just be aware, when you're given ASS, I can go ahead and try and start to solve it. And if I get a calculator error, I didn't do anything wrong. The problem is a bad setup. And the lady will explain why that is. It's actually a pretty awesome explanation. I couldn't do any better. And she would do way better because she's better at technology than I am with the pictures that she draws to help you understand it. So A, B, couldn't care less where you put it. I like putting it here, B. Okay, so understand why this is ASS. All right, I got an angle and then the 2 sides right after that. This is an ASS scenario. The only thing that you could find, you cannot find this side through the Pythagorean theorem. This is not a right triangle. So the only thing that you could find first is angle B. And I guess the way I've been doing notes is change colors so that I know. And then that's what I have to find. B. I also have to find angle C. And then I also have to find side C. Okay, so if I have no triangle, it's going to happen right now. Your calculator error. That's the greatest thing. You get an error, just double check your work and say, okay, they gave me information that's bogus because ASS can be a problem. Lady will tell you why. Sine of 62 over 15, that's perfectly good. And then I didn't I didn't have labels. Oh, well, we'll just say units later. Equals, but not in this case, I'm finding an angle measure. So sine of B over B, which is 12. Okay, so again, sine an angle, and then it's over a side measure. I don't know why I get that people missing this. It's just as somebody that is not doing their work. The only way that could possibly happen. All right, and then cross multiply. Actually, wrong. Just multiply both sides by 12. Ooh, we got something different here. What button am I going to have to type on my calculator in 5 seconds? Which button am I going to have to use to find angle B? 5, 4, 3, 2. Should be everyone that writes this. 1, 0. This is the basic trig question. Good. I bet you're fumbling for the key. Or what's the word for it? Starts with an I. Good. Inverse sine. Good. So it's inverse sine. So 12 sine 62. Again, trying to do too much. I stopped writing. Yeah, that gives you a chance to catch up or actually get ahead of me. So then you get this decimal and you inverse sine that. And then don't round. I was worried, Ethan, maybe if you round earlier. Is this class? Yes. Make sure you do 12 sine, and I'll do that real quick. I see what I did wrong in my calculator error there. Then I hit divide by 15. Okay, so 0.706. Don't round this here, though. Leave this on your calculator screen and then hit inverse sine, and then answer is down here, right where my thumb is. Second, minus or negative sign. Then it should be inverse sine of the answer. Never round in the middle of the question. Then I get 44.9 degrees. So knowing this is 44.9 degrees and not units, you found an angle measure. Right? Again, for work, I'm totally fine if you only wrote this and the answer. I don't need to see all the rest of this. I'm doing this for no purposes. Right? Do understand that. Then 44.9 goes here. Then the very next thing is 180 minus. So don't be using the law of sines for angle C. Angle C, you already have your two other angle measures that you need. Can anyone get that real quick? Then I'll start setting up. What I used to do with the notes is like section it off. There's that section, there's that section, then the last section is for side C. 73.1, good. Thank you for that. Saves me some brain power trying to, do all these things at once. Much appreciated. If we were in class, I'd ask you to verbalize it anyway. So let me put that here. I made that mistake in the notes up above. I was putting things in the wrong spot. So that's there. So the find C is sine of 73.1 over C. Now I am finding the side measure equals. Go back to your original. Again, one more reiteration of this. If any of your answers that you found are wrong, then this will be wrong. Going back to the original gives you a better chance at that anyway, but just a general rule to go by. And then this is 15 times this divided by sine 62. We get a verification of what that is. And then I'm highlighting again the minimum that I need to see on a test and your homework, or else it's of extreme low quality. Okay, so prove that. All right, 16.3, just looking for a verification on that. Good, 2 verifications seem good to me. If anyone else wants to chime in and say yes, thumbs up. And everything else was degrees, so it is units here. Again, I'm highlighting the minimum of what I need to see written. This is why those that are really good algebraically, you're going to enjoy this section because it can be very fast as well. All right, now I'm going to end with this. Nice. Why doesn't SSS work for the law of sines? Let's go ahead and put a quick triangle here. Let's just say 7, 8, 9. Hey, why is 6 afraid of 7? The 7, 8, 9. So say you were given this triangle and this was ABC. Sine of A over A, sine of B. So let's try that. Let's try to find angle A. Okay, well, I don't know A, but I know A is opposite 8. Well, then what am I going to use to find angle A? You got to pick something else. So let's pick B. Oh, no. I don't have angle B either. So here I have 2 unknowns. This is why when given SSS, law of sines doesn't work. on Monday, a week from today, or Tuesday when you're in my class, you're going to have a mishmash of questions. You have to pick the right thing. If this happens, you don't panic and swear Mr. Samuelis's name saying, I hate him. You say, okay, I used the wrong one. Let me try the law of cosines and see if that works to find a particular thing. And then you are proactive and able to do that. SAS, well, this is a little different than ASA, wrong, ASS. SAS is given this angle. I'm just making up angle measures, 23 degrees. Let's say this one is 4 units and this is 6 units. Let's call this A, B, C. So this is little b, this is little c. So let me try the law of sines for this one. Well, I'd have to start with sine of 23, I think. Oh no. This is either called side BC, sorry, or side little a. And then you already see the problem. Now when I try to use any of these other parts to solve for side A, for instance, I don't know angle B or angle C. If I pick angle B, well then I already have 2 unknowns. 2 unknowns are unsolvable. That's why the law of sines doesn't work when given SAS. Okay? Pretty simple. Even when you accidentally select the wrong thing, it's an easy way to get out of it. Right? That's what we'll end on there, especially with video purposes. Okay, so just to make sure, don't go anywhere yet.